kids who are referred to treatment because they've gotten in trouble, and they get treatment, it's working, will that disciplinary record follow them around? And second, a lot of the kids that we're talking about, you talked about them having trauma in their past. They might not be able to afford the types of treatments that I assume are ongoing. What happens then? You're getting the treatment while you're a part of a program, but you successfully graduate, or whatever the term may be. I would assume you still need treatment of some kind. How do they get that when they can't afford that?
Once a youth is out of the system, it's left up to the youth's parents or the youth themselves to actually get those services, because those services were offered as part of the system. So many of you come into the system, but I think we have a bigger issue. I think the issue is over-incarceration of youth. And I think we do have a lot of things that are in place in the department, as Paul was laying out, and there are more things that are coming online. However, it's, do we consider that, or are these things considered, the mental health issues or the mental status of a child, when they go before the judge? And I think that's what we really have to look at, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't look at the real issue, which is over-incarceration of youth, and take the mental issue into consideration when that youth is sentenced to a youth program or sentenced to a community-based program, if we don't take any of this into consideration, we're still going to swamp the system. Even though we put all of these things in place within the system, how do we stop them from coming into the system? Or help them when they get there? We know they have a behavioral issue. Once they come before the judge, is that taken into consideration? Or will we say, no, we're just going to sentence them and let them utilize all the programs that are in place within the system?
Many times when we make referrals for services, and Dr. Lord will go into much more detail with this, just because a child has been initiated in services, just if they get to the point where they successfully complete probation, that doesn't somehow mean that they no longer can access those services through Lakeview. And that's what I was going to say for those children and families that can't go out and they don't have insurance, they can't afford to pay for a lot of this. That's going to be where those services are provided. All we're going to tell the judge when we get information is that the child is participating in their program, and that that's really the only piece of information that we're going to provide. We're not going to say, well, you know, you did this, 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 and this. We're not going to get that far down into the weeds, because quite frankly, you wind up having HIPAA issues at that point. We're just going to tell them, and they're just going to tell us they're participating, they're making progress, and that's what we're going to report. And then if they get to the point where, as I said, they go off of probation, then they'll still be able to continue with those services. Of course, there may not be that leverage that says, you know, the judge says you're supposed to be there, so you have to. But, you know, the hope would be, and even if they come back from a residential commitment program with services that are identified that they need, they still, if we hook them up with those services, we're not going to just discontinue them because suddenly they've reached the end of their probation period. They'll still have access to those things.
Yeah, some of the treatment teams that I have, we continue to follow these children after they get off probation, some for a year or more. So it doesn't just end because they get off probation. If they still want to access services, now it's all voluntary. I can't make anybody come to treatment. So, but if their parents say, I still want them engaged and there's still a need for that child to be there, we're certainly going to continue to treat that child. But it's not just about treating the children too, right? I have to treat the whole family, and the whole continuum has to be treated. So when you see our teams go in and we do all of our services in the community, in the home, so they have less barriers to access, but also to really understand the home dynamics that are going on inside of that family and helping them reshape those in a way that is much more healthier, so that we can have better outcomes. But again, everything that we do is voluntary. But you know, we do have many that continue to stick with us. It's about building that relationship with the family, and it's kind of difficult because when you have somebody that is involved with the Department of Juvenile Justice or they come out of programs, they're usually upset. And if somebody doesn't build a relationship with that family, then there's no trust there, and they don't want to continue services. And that's really the hardest part of the job, is building a relationship with people. And if you fail to do that part, nothing else is going to matter. And that's the part that gets the families to buy into the care that we're trying to provide.